Shayna Jack has received a 4-year suspension for testing positive to a banned substance called Ligandrol. I have male impotence. What's going on? We discuss in this video.
Could have been from some food, it could have been from a water bottle. Certainly Shayna doesn't know either. Contamination.
G'day everyone, I'm the left-leaning conservative. Thanks for tuning in. Don't forget to like, subscribe and comment below and hit the bell if you want a really annoying notification every time I decide to upload a new video. So Shayna Jack has received a 4-year suspension for testing positive to a banned substance called Ligandrol. Shayna Jack is a 20-year-old swimmer based here in Queensland, Australia, and she was unable to compete in the Swimming World Championships in South Korea. Now, before we move forward, some people might be asking, what is Ligandrol? And if you like going to the gym and pumping iron, lifting weights like myself, you might know it as a SARM. SARMs are selective androgen receptor modulators, and the bottle says on the front, I think it's LGD4033. And this is a drug that was designed in 2009 in a lab in San Francisco. And as far as I know it, it is pretty much for looking shredded at the beach and getting you pretty ripped. I have used it previously. You get stronger, your performance is better, your strength goes up, you get leaner. The number one feature of this steroid is that there is no nasty side effects that you might get from using, say, tren or human growth hormone.
Do steroids shrink your balls?
But this is the first case that I have come across. I'm sure there are other cases where someone has been using it in sport. So the reason I'm making this video is because of what Shayna Jackson's manager, Philip Stoneman, said in an interview. And I'm going to run a little bit of the clip, but I couldn't catch, or I haven't seen it caught on camera, what he says about contamination. But I'm just going to roll this clip and then we'll talk about it after.
Being drilled from a very early age about knowing what's going in your body. They have to know that. So there's no excuses in relation to that, and she understands that. But when you don't know that if you've eaten something and it might be contaminated, well, then that's the mystery. And that's why this is such a shocking situation for her. And I think her post clearly explains, you know, when you get a call from a SADA and you're not expecting one, it's a heart rate situation that I can imagine would just be like swimming the 50 or 100 metre sprint. It must have been terrible for her.
Look, I have to agree with him there. It would be awful getting a phone call from the Australian Doping Authority saying that you've tested positive to a banned substance. She's a 20-year-old girl, 20-year-old chick. She's, you know, an attractive young woman. She's a superstar athlete. I definitely feel for her. I just think her management and her coach are letting her down at the moment. But the best thing is, the kicker of what this guy, Philip Stoneman, said was that it could be in meat, it could be in mushrooms, it could be anything. It's a bit of a jigsaw puzzle at the moment. I mean, that is the best thing I have ever heard for contamination. Yeah, I just went down to the butcher and grabbed a nice piece of porterhouse, got home, put it on the barbecue, and yeah, I pissed positive. Who would have thought? Now, if anyone follows the UFC, this happened to John Jones, where he tested positive to a few banned substances, and he said that the supplements that he was taking at the time were made in China, and these same labs that made his supplements also made steroids, and that they were contaminated, and that's why he tested positive. So Shayna Jack has an opportunity to prove her innocence in a meeting with ASADA. And this is going to prove to be incredibly difficult, because I watched a guy on Sky News talking about how she's going to have to prove her innocence, and that pretty much food isn't going to stand up. You're not going to say, yeah, I had a piece of chicken, I had a piece of steak, I was eating mushrooms.
These are mushrooms.
Yeah, they must have had SARMs in it. They must have had LGD4033. I'm sorry, I just never knew. So the best thing that what I can gather is that she's going to have to possibly give all of her supplements to ASADA and say, can you test these for contamination? Like if she's taking a multivitamin, or if she's taking creatine, or anything along those lines that may have contributed to her testing positive to ligandrol. On the flip side of that, if they test these supplements and none of them are contaminated, I dare say she's going to be guilty, which would be really horrible. I mean, there is quite a lot of people on juice at the moment. I mean, look at the track and field team of Russia. As I mentioned in a video previously, they've been banned. Sun Yang is in trouble with ASADA for smashing his bloody doping samples, his urine and blood sample in front of a couple of people that work for WADA. You know, it's everywhere. It's crazy. And I feel for people like Shayna, and I feel for all athletes, because are you looking down the barrel of, cool, I'm talented, I train really hard, but I sort of have to take something to be competitive? I mean, look at Lance Armstrong, case in point. His whole team were doping. The entire freaking team was blood doping. Marion Jones, you know, she's a 100-meter sprinter, 200-meter sprinter, absolutely destroyed everyone in every race that she took part in. And, you know, 8 years later, gets done for using steroids. Ben Johnson, it's everywhere. I just think it's, unfortunate that some people get caught. I think the majority of people don't get caught. They know how to abuse the system, and that's what they do to make themselves extremely competitive. And for someone like Shayna or people coming up through the ranks, maybe coaches, managers, they know about this and talk to the athlete and say, look, if you want to be competitive, unfortunately, you're going to have to take these steroids or these performance-enhancing drugs. We will have them out of your system before you're tested. If you don't take them, you will not be competitive.
Oh, that's a bad idea. Oh, that's a very bad idea.
I guess it's a little bit of a conspiracy theory. I can't prove that. I did enjoy the documentary Icarus, which I have mentioned in a video previously, where the Russian dude, the crazy Russian guy, said that more than 60% of the athletes in the Russian Olympic team are cycling or have been doping. That's pretty crazy and rather scary for anyone that is looking at becoming a professional athlete. Wrapping things up, like I said, I feel really bad for Shayna Jackson. She got caught. I think there's probably a lot of other people that are doping in Australian sport, and not just Australian sport, obviously, all other countries around the world. She just got caught. She may have made a mistake. She probably came off cycle at the wrong time. She must be under a lot of pressure with her family. I hope she gets through this. I hope nothing bad happens to her and that she finds a way in life, because she is still really, really young. All right, guys, thanks for tuning in. I'm the Left-Leaning Conservative. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and comment below and hit the bell if you want a notification on any of my new uploads. Thanks so much for watching, and I will see you on the next video. Ciao.